Can you believe this is where my shampoo bars come from? Come along with me on a trip to rural China. If you want to see an amazing example of community-based travel in China, you've come to the right place. We're going to take you along to meet members of an indigenous tribe on their land in the mountains. We're going to the autonomous region of Guangxi, which is known for its remarkable landscape of needle-like mountains, and for the indigenous Red Yao tribe who have lived there for centuries. The Red Yao grow rice in beautiful terraced rice fields, and we'll tell you how they're slowly being converted to organic farming. And the Red Yao women are famous for their floor-length hair, which they credit to washing their hair with rice water. We'll also give you a ton of travel tips for visiting rural China, whether you want to plan a trip like this on your own, or you want to join the small tour that we got to experience. We were able to go on this trip because Viori, a small company that works with the tribe, invited us. Viori sponsored this video for us, and we're excited to show you the sustainability work that they're doing in the region and a close-up look at the trips you'll be able to join them on soon. Oh, hi, I'm Kelly.
And I'm Emanuele. We are the people behind the sustainable travel blog Tilted Map.
We show you lots of realistic, actionable ways to travel and live more sustainably, so hit the subscribe button for more and make sure you stay to the end of this video because we have a discount code for this trip.
We are getting ready to take off for Hong Kong and we are excited to take you with us.
We took a 16-hour direct flight from New York City to Hong Kong. When we landed, we took public transportation to the Kowloon area, where Viori had booked our hotel. We went for a walk and got some noodles in our bellies, and then crashed after a long travel day. Good morning. First day in Hong Kong. We got in last night, and now we're ready to go take the train to Guilin. Here's a pro tip that we learned on our first day. Crossing from Hong Kong into mainland China is actually an international border crossing, and it takes a lot longer than boarding a normal train in any other part of the world. And we've taken a lot of trains. You have to go through multiple security and immigration checks, and we actually ended up missing our original train. Luckily, Martin, our guide from Viori, was able to help us change our tickets to a different route, so we only got to Guilin an hour later than planned. He also arranged a taxi driver to pick us up at the station when we got there. So we're in the car now for about an hour. We're gonna drive from Guilin to somewhere along the Li River and meet up with the Viori people and get to our guest house. Our driver brought us to the town of Yangdi, and Martin crossed the river in a local boat to pick us up. On the other side, we hopped in an electric tuk-tuk, and from there it was just a 5-minute ride up the hill to the village of Langshi, and our first local guest house experience of the trip. Okay, welcome to Laojia. This is our beautiful guest house here in Langshi village, tiny little village that we're staying in for the next 2 nights, which is really beautiful. This place is so cool. It was built, they think, about 200 years ago in the Qing dynasty, and it's just a really authentic place. I've never been in anything like this before. Really special place to get to spend a couple of nights, definitely not like staying in a normal hotel somewhere. So I think we're gonna go to sleep now, and tomorrow will be a new adventure. Okay, good morning. Today is the first full day out here in very rural China. We're gonna go for a hike with a goat herder this morning. But first, breakfast. We're ready. We're gonna go have breakfast now, which I think involves some kind of fermented ginger tea and something else. We'll see. We're going to go to the home of our host's parents. His mom is the goat herder who's taking us on a hike, and she wanted to make us a local specialty for breakfast first. It's a kind of tea called yo cha. I'll explain it better later because it's going to be a big feature of this trip. We're definitely not stopping at any Starbucks anytime soon. Just to be clear, where we are here is not the Red Yao area yet. It can get kind of confusing because the name sounds so similar to Western ears. The Red Yao live in LongSheng. This town of Langshi was just a worthwhile detour to show us a bit of Yangshuo County. Yangshuo is a different part of the Guangxi region and is famous for those beautiful karst mountains I mentioned and for the Li River that flows through them. After breakfast, we started following Ai up a steep mountain. We'd recommend packing light hiking shoes or tennis shoes for this trip, both for this hike and just for the rough terrain in general. Check out the blog post for our packing recommendations since we learned these things the hard way.
So we are on a hike going to the place where the lady is keeping her goat, and it's 10:30 in the morning It's about 30 degrees Celsius and 90% humidity.
Ai's goats spend their lives up here foraging in the mountains. She feeds them a mix of rice powder, salt, and powdered milk as a treat, and when they hear her calling, they come running. And yes, she does sell them for food. For all this effort to follow traditional and sustainable ways of raising livestock, she said she can earn a little more than if they were raised industrially, but not a huge premium. Okay, we had a nice lunch of peanuts and hot tea that Ai just boiled for us here in her little shed, which was lovely. This lunch that we just had is what she does every day. She comes here at lunchtime, takes care of her goats, feeds the goats, and makes herself these little snacks right here. So it was cool to actually experience the way that she lives. And now we have to do the hike in reverse to get out of here. Stylish hats, check. The descent was a lot easier, and the views the entire time were more than worth the effort. It felt great to splash ourselves off in a stream at the bottom of the hike. Ai is a fitness icon. We couldn't believe she does this hike every day, especially at her age. It honestly was a bit of a struggle for us, but we blamed it on the jet lag. We definitely recommend arriving a day early for this trip if you can, just so you have one extra day to recover in Hong Kong before starting the adventure. Back at the village, a couple of locals opened up their shop just to sell us a refreshing beverage.
After a nap, it's time to eat something, finally. The day was pretty long. We are still jet lagged, very lagged. Not sure I'm gonna put this into the video, but who knows.
Day 4, we are going to take a little boat ride down the Li River, and then we're going to head up to LongSheng village. The Li River is a famous rural destination in China for both foreign and Chinese tourists. But Langshi village is much more off the beaten path than other towns along the river. Laojia Guest House used to be really well rated on Airbnb, and 80% of their guests were actually foreigners. Haibo even won an award for being the best Airbnb host in China. But since Airbnb left China in 2022, this area has lost the majority of its tourism. And for a tiny town without a whole lot going on, that's been a big economic blow. Plus, Ai clearly loves having guests, so we shouldn't disappoint her. So today we are at Yangdi, and we're about to take a little bamboo boat to do a little tour on the river, and I'm being sold lots and lots of things. Hopefully we're gonna get on a boat here from Yangdi and take a little river cruise. If I'm not held hostage here for the money that's apparently in my bag. No, XingPing, that's where we're going.
Ready to go.
A bamboo boat cruise on the Li River with its otherworldly scenery would be the highlight of a lot of trips to rural China, but we're just getting started. The landscape we'll pass through is even featured on China's 20 yuan notes. The Li River flows 100 miles from north to south through the mountains of Guangxi region. It passes through the provincial capital, Guilin, before eventually becoming part of southern China's famous Pearl River. There are a lot more tourists in XingPing, the town where we'll end our cruise, compared with Yangdi and Langshi, the village where we started. Our boat driver is a local woman from Langshi, and she said only about 10% of boat drivers are women. If you take this trip by yourself, one important tip is to make sure you spring for the electric boat instead of a gas-powered one. The electric boats cost 30 yuan more, which is about $4. And in addition to reducing pollution, it made the trip so much more enjoyable. We didn't even notice the difference until we passed gas-powered bamboo boats and heard the loud rumbling of the engines and smelled the exhaust. Okay. It would be a much less relaxing trip on board one of those. Also, even though these are called bamboo boats, they're not actually made out of bamboo anymore. When we got off the boat, there were plenty of booths selling local snacks, and from there, it's a 20-minute walk to the town of XingPing. You can also hire a tuk-tuk to drive you there.
Yeah, we arrived to XingPing,
which is a great place for lunch in a local restaurant. This is a local specialty, fish cooked in beer. We're about to get on the train and do a 20-minute ride to Guilin, and then we'll do a little transfer up to the LongSheng village. So the adventure continues. So this was Ai's first time on an escalator. It's also about to be her first time on a fast train. And she hasn't traveled like for pleasure since 1980. So this is a big day of adventure. When we got to Guilin, we met Amy, who works with Viore, and the driver who would take us from the train station to the LongSheng village. It was a scenic 2-hour drive through narrow valleys before we turned off the main road and up a steep side road toward the Red Yao tribe's autonomous land in the mountains. We checked into our guest house, which was gorgeous and is owned by a local Red Yao family. Our room had a traditional Chinese-style bathroom, which I was used to after living in China. We could have chosen a room with a Western-style bathroom, but this one just had the best view. Even though we're on Indigenous-controlled land here in the LongSheng Autonomous County, not all hotels are Indigenous-owned, and it's basically impossible to know without a guide which ones are or are not. After we had some time to get settled, we had our first meeting with some of the women of the Red Yao tribe, who showed us how they create their handmade embroidery work, which they sell through Viore. We had a fun chat with the help of our interpreters, Martin and Amy. And then it was time for dinner. Good morning. We are here in Tientouzhai, in our little village in the mountains in northern Guangxi province in southern China. This is the view that we woke up to from our guest house this morning, which is pretty spectacular. It's a locally owned guest house owned by members of the Red Yao tribe, and we're about to go downstairs and have breakfast, and they're going to show us how they make yo cha, which directly translated means oil tea, and it's like fried tea leaves, and then they put in broth and sort of crisped rice and green onions. It's kind of their version of coffee. It's like not their entire breakfast, but it's something that they wake up in the morning and have a little pick-me-up with yo cha. After breakfast, we had some free time to explore the village and snap a few photos while Martin helped a local shop owner install a stand selling Viore's organic rice locally. Viore purchases all of the organic rice that the tribe members grow and pays double the market rate for it. Both of these things provide a guarantee and an incentive for farmers to join the organic program. Organic farming promotes healthier soil and biodiversity. It minimizes toxic pollution runoff that gets into water and soil, harming wildlife, and it produces healthier food and is safer for the farmers who work the land. Right now, it's only a 10-acre parcel that's under organic management here, but it's a start, and it's the only acreage of organic farming in the area. Even though Viore buys all of the rice, less than half of it goes to the US to make shampoo bars. The rest stays in China, where Viore is helping the tribe to set up domestic sales channels. All of the revenue from that goes directly into a fund owned by the Farmers Cooperative, so it's basically a gift from Viore. This is the organic rice that Viore's cooperative grows here in southern China. And it's what they use to make these beautifully packaged shampoo bars, which are also really beautiful on the inside. In addition to farming organic rice for shampoo bars, Viore has several other programs to bring more jobs to the Red Yao community, including selling crafts made with their traditional embroidery work, growing organic tea, and now community-based tourism. Yes, now we're going to have lunch.
People come here. We want to make sure that the money doesn't only go to one family, and especially goes to families that are sort of in need.
Yeah.
So this is one of those families.
And this is a restaurant. It's not just their house.
No, it's just their house.
Oh, it's just oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is basically community tourism at its purest. We're here right now at a home of a local family where the husband fell down the steps a couple years ago and is in a wheelchair. And so the wife is responsible for all of the income for the household. They don't have a lot, and so she works several different jobs. She picks up garbage on the street, and she's in Viore's embroidery program. And one of the criteria for women to join the embroidery program here is that there has to be some level of need. So they look for people who are capable of learning, of doing the embroidery, and who also have some actual economic need. We're gonna have lunch with them now at their house. So this is not a restaurant. This isn't some place that you can go eat if you aren't here with Viore. This is just one of their local connections, which is pretty cool.
We're going to the waterfall. We don't know how difficult this trail is. They're always very concerned that we fall and die. But maybe that won't happen today, Satan. Won't happen today.
The hike was mostly steps, and we went at a leisurely pace, stopping for lots of photos and listening to our guides chat in their local dialect as they walked. At the bottom of the hike, we turned a corner and the waterfall revealed itself. Since it was still the rainy season, it did not disappoint. This is actually the waterfall that Viori's hidden waterfall shampoo bar scent is named for. With the falls as a backdrop, our guide showed us how they create their famous Red Yao hairstyle. The routine was clearly rehearsed, but it was still beautiful to watch. We're on our way to the tea forest now, but first we have to hike out of the waterfall. So we're hiking now to the tea forest, which is basically wild tea trees, where the Red Yao get the tea leaves that they use for their yocha that we drank this morning, the oil tea. But it's at the top of a mountain.
Other tea farms like this, or forests, they also use like chemicals and pesticides to sort of stimulate the growth. So what Viori has done is basically paid the villagers to grow tea, according to organic methods, and teach them how to like pluck the tea so that they can upgrade sort of their product and sell it also to the market. 维奥，你是支持已经第3年了吗？第4年。That's the 4th year. Yeah, the Viori is supporting this tea project. And later the tea factory we'll be going at, we'll be drinking some of this tea.
We're here to visit the local tea factory and have some tea now. We tasted 4 kinds of tea prepared by a tea master who pays close attention to the temperature of the water and the time the tea steeps, which is less than 1 minute. Following this procedure, you can steep 6 to 8 times before the leaves lose their flavor. Our tea tasting flowed into dinner, and we shared another delicious meal which featured lots of local vegetable dishes. After dinner, we got a private tour of the tea factory and learned all about the process of making different kinds of tea. Lily, one of the partners in the tea factory, said that her mission with this business is to create employment in LongSheng so that local youth don't have to leave for the cities. Today, we're going to visit a school that has asked for Viori's help with some projects, and that is all I know.
What mostly happens is that why people move to the cities is 2 things. There's higher income, and the schools have better facilities and better teachers.
Okay.
One thing that we're doing is asking them what's needed in the school.
Yeah.
And the number 1 thing is, the facilities and paying a teacher who wanted to come back to her hometown, but the school didn't have funds for her. But that's not this school. This school, we've mostly done only facility upgrades.
Okay. But you're paying her whole salary?
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
that's cool.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay. Yeah, they said the school was built in the 1960s, and back then there were over 100 students here. But now a lot of students go to LongSheng town, which is about an hour away from here, because they think that rural schools don't have as good of facilities and as good of teachers. So now there's only 14 students in first grade and kindergarten combined. So one of the reasons Viori is trying to help the school is to help stop rural people from having to move to the city, right?
So this whole play area here was sponsored by Viori. So before, the floor wasn't flat, so the water would build up, and basically it rains a lot here, so they would never have the opportunity to play. Now with this area, we just have more area to play in.
Bye-bye.
After our school visit, we went to another Red Yao family's home for lunch. It was a really rainy day, so we mostly spent it inside the house just hanging out with everyone. The women showed us how they prepare sticky rice cakes with sweet red beans, which is harder than it looks, even though it doesn't look easy. When the work was done, we all sat down for another delicious homemade meal together. Okay, we're here in Tientouzhai, which is the town where Viore has about 10 acres of rice farming under organic management. And these women here are part of the Viore's rice cooperative. And so their families are the ones who farm the land. They grow all of the rice for Viore shampoo bars. And they are very friendly and chatty. And it's super fun to hang out with them here. This trip has been really cool, really unique and special. We've gotten to go to places and meet people like this menu here, who we wouldn't have been able to meet or, organize experiences like this on our own. It would be practically impossible. And it's been really cool to see the way that Viore interacts with the local communities, really on the community's terms, asking them what they want, how they want to be involved in the company, and what kind of help they want if they want anything. So it's been really, really fantastic, a really unique experience. And these women are so sweet. And it's really special to get to spend time with them and see the impact that Viore is having and the way that they're helping convert some farmland to organic management, which is really, really unique here in China. We've gotten to stay in Indigenous-owned local hotels that have been really beautiful and fantastic. We've eaten lots of local and super authentic food. Every single meal half of them have been in people's homes, which is really unique. We would never be able to do that on our own. So if you're interested to learn more, we have a discount code below in the description. If you want to book this trip, make sure you check that out. I also have a blog post with more information. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Tilted Map for more stories about sustainable travel. See? That's what she's doing right now. She's subscribing to Tilted Map, I'm pretty sure. Ni hao ma? Ha. Okay. Ha.